What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from Marvel, DC, and even IDW as well. But today, we're going to sit down and jump back over to Marvel Comics and cover The Amazing Spider-Man number 20. Now, the reason why, because this is the book that gives us the origin of Scorpion in the Marvel Universe, but also because I want to do something new on the channel, where we sit down and cover different origins of Spider-Man villains. And so, today, we're going to sit down and cover the origin of the Scorpion. Now, if you do like today's video, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. But I do hope you enjoy today's video. So getting into the issue that gave us Scorpion, it was really an idea to give Spider-Man someone who represents a predator to a spider. Of course, being a scorpion. That is one of the many predators to a spider. Now, technically, Scorpion first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man number 19, just as Matt Gargan. And that was it for that book. The dude appears in the very last page as someone who got hired to follow Peter Parker around, and his boss was some mysterious person trying to learn more about Peter Parker. So of course, by the time we get into Amazing Spider-Man number 20, well, in the first page, Peter Parker realized that someone is following him. When Matt Gargan stops following Peter after he gets home so he can go call his boss, Peter goes to follow him to learn more about who he is, except he finds out nothing and has to go back home and change back into Peter Parker before Matt Gargan learns that he is Spider-Man. But Peter Parker knows that someone is now watching him, and he has to be careful on what he does before Matt Gargan figures out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But then we jump over to the Daily Bugle, and of course the main focus is J. Jonah Jameson, because he plays a very important role in the creation of Scorpion. But we see him looking over different stories his people possibly want to put in tomorrow's paper, except he sees an article about someone being able to do artificial mutations in animals, which gives him an idea. But as soon as he gets that idea, we learn that Jonah was the one who hired Matt Gargan to follow Peter Parker around, because Mac was still doing his job following Peter around. But of course, Peter goes to the Daily Bugle. We then see Matt go up and talk to Jonah, and before Matt can give Jonah an update, Jonah takes Matt to go see this doctor about the artificial mutations in animals. This is where we see Matt Gargan and Jonah go see Dr. Farley, who is the one doing the mutations in animals, where he made a rat able to swim like a fish and a fish being able to breathe air like a rat. And so Jonah is hoping to mutate Matt Gargan into a scorpion, where of course he does. And this is where we see the first time Matt Gargan became the Scorpion. Honestly, it gave Spider-Man another character in his role gallery that fans will love. But now Scorpion does show off his new abilities, leaves with Jonah to make a plan to attack Spider-Man. This leads into Spider-Man coming by to bother Jonah, and there is a reason why, except we're not going to sit down and cover it. But once he is done bothering Jonah and leaves, that is when you have the Scorpion appear, and of course, this begins the first battle between the two of them. Now we know that Spider-Man will not beat the Scorpion at first, but the real reason why is to show that Scorpion is actually stronger than Spider-Man. Of course, Jonah loves watching Spider-Man getting his butt kicked by the Scorpion, but in the middle of the fight, we get 3 panels showing Dr. Farley where he learns that he had messed up, because the stronger the Scorpion gets, the more evil he becomes. And so he rushes over to give Scorpion a serum. This fight ends though with Scorpion making Spider-Man crash into a water tower. And we do see that Spider-Man is knocked out thanks to Scorpion being so strong and powerful. But after Scorpion defeats Spider-Man in round 1, we see him begin to cause havoc in the city. Like Dr. Farley said, with Scorpion getting stronger, the more evil he becomes. Truthfully, this is karma coming back to Jonah. We do see Spider-Man is coming to after being knocked out. You do have Dr. Farley appear and try to give Scorpion the serum, hoping he would take it and end everything. Of course, Scorpion does not take the serum. He breaks the container that was holding it and ends up killing off Dr. Farley. You have Spider-Man jump back in for another round and hoping that he can stop the Scorpion. Now, we knew sooner or later that Scorpion would go after Jonah since he had a huge hand in making Matt Gargan into the Scorpion. And so we see the Scorpion attacking the Daily Bugle. But this is where we see Spider-Man jump into a fight against Scorpion once again, which leads into a battle between the two of them. But Spider-Man knows he cannot play around anymore when it comes to the Scorpion. And so we see Spider-Man being able to defeat Scorpion and the day is saved. But this is how Scorpion first came into the Marvel Universe. But the police do take him away, and you have Jonah upset because he still wants to kill off Spider-Man. Now, this is part of the video where I sit down and give my thoughts on about the book. Now guys, to be honest, when it comes to this book right here, it was very simple. And what I mean is that back in the day, back in the 1960s, and I want to say the early part of the 1970s as well, like the first year or two, a lot of comic book writers' stories were very simple. That you had a new bad guy appear or even the old bad guy return, and you had the hero had to go and change into their superhero outfit to go fight that bad guy. That was really it for the book. And here we are here. That you have Scorpion appear, a brand new bad guy. Peter Parker had to go in and change into Spider-Man to stop this bad guy. That was really it. There was no big lesson. There was no big huge thing about this book because it was something simple. Now, I'm not saying all the books back in the 1960s and 70s were that simple, but most of them were. And this right here was another one. And I did like the book because it gave me one of my top 10 favorite Spider-Man villains. Because when I was a kid playing on a PlayStation 1, the first bad guy you had to fight in that Spider-Man game on the PS1 was the Scorpion. And you had to save Jonah from the Scorpion. And so that's why I say I like the Scorpion. The book was simple. It was easy to digest and get done very quickly. It's not a bad book, but it's not an amazing book. It was a simple book that gave us a Scorpion, and that is it. And so guys, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I'm out of here and I will see y'all next time. Later.